Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
All right. Well, welcome this morning, everybody. Had an opportunity to put that together with my wife and son, and they were so awesome. And so I thank them for the lovely introduction. And as my son Lewis said, let's talk some business today. Good early Saturday morning to you, trying a few new times. Like I mentioned in some of my social media posts, bring the coffee. I've got mine right here. Very good this morning. Actually, second cup. So waking up here, it's 8:30 Central Time here in St. Louis, Missouri. So hopefully you guys are having a great morning already. And we've had a little bit of decent weather here finally in St. Louis, but it looks a little cloudy, and we had some thunderstorms last night. So the weather, you can't quite figure it out around here. I know everybody else has had a lot of issues with their weather, and spring just decided not to show up. But let's keep our fingers crossed that we all get a little bit of spring before we get into a sweltering summer. Again, like I said, trying some new times here, trying to figure out what works best to have everybody show up and have conversations with me and post questions and stuff like that. So if you have suggestions for when the best time on a Saturday is for you, please feel free to shoot that over to me. Just let me know, make a comment on this video, whatever works for you. But today, just today, we are going to be talking about sales objections. And, I've been in sales for probably, in this industry, at least 18 years, well before that. So 1997, I think, was when I had my first sales job. And I will be honest with you, I've never been a great salesperson. In fact, I'm the first one to admit that I'm a horrible salesperson. But what I am good at is listening and understanding and some of the things we're going to talk about. And I've learned these skills from other salespeople who weren't great salespeople, from a sheer, used car salesman. Like, I don't know. I hate using that analogy necessarily, because just tell you a little story. When I was in high school and everybody was trying to decide what they were going to be when they grew up, what I wanted my career to be, it was a car salesman. That was what I wanted to be. And, quickly discovered that I was actually pretty bad at sales from just getting out in front of people standpoint, because I am somewhat introverted. But what I did discover is that if you have a product that you believe in, your company, things you're passionate about, sales is actually fairly easy if you do the right things, and you have the marketing and the things in place that make the product kind of sell itself. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk two techniques that I found to give you a way to overcome some sales objections, some people, getting out in front of people and them not necessarily buying from you right away, and how we can overcome that. So let's start by putting this up. So the first in fact, one quick second here. Let's make a change here. All right, there. Make this look a little bit better video-wise. So, all right. So the first technique is we need to listen. Listening is a skill that you wouldn't necessarily equate with the salesperson. A lot of times you think of the iconic salesperson as this fast-talking guy that just talks his way into your wallet, so to speak. And honestly, especially today, but really even going back a lot longer, that was more of a made-up movie type of salesperson. Those people are typically not very successful in the long term. The good salespeople, the people that are successful for the long term, actually hardly talk at all. They do a ton of listening. And so because what happens is, in the sales process, it's really not normally about the price. That's an easy figure that we can quantify, that we can go back and forth on. but very rarely does somebody decide not to buy strictly on the price alone because it's just too expensive for them. More often than not, it's actually a lack of perceived value. And so there's no way to find out what exactly is their true objection unless you're listening. So I'll give you a really good example. I'm really starting to believe in this whole law of attraction thing, but I came up with this little bit ago as a topic that I wanted to talk about. And then yesterday I spent a good chunk of our day. We need some new windows in our house. So we had several people over to give us some quotes on new windows. And, those guys are pretty much straight commission. And, it was very interesting to see how they worked. And the last gentleman that we had in our house last night, actually, really great guys, just nice, personable, enjoyed talking to him, very open, very honest about, everything going on. My wife and I felt really comfortable with him, but boy, he just couldn't stop talking. He just talked and talked and talked. And, we weren't ready to make a decision. We're just getting pricing together and we're just trying to figure this stuff out. And so we weren't going to make a decision no matter how much we loved him or his windows or whatever. And his only technique that he had was to basically go, okay, well, I'd really love to do this. And every time we were quiet and made him uncomfortable, apparently, he lowered the price. So I started thinking to myself, well, man, I'm just going to sit here and listen and wait to see how low this guy will go. And, we still never made a decision, but now his price, and now he's also committed to holding on to that lower price for a lot longer. So, he didn't have that understanding of the fact that we were looking to get information. We were looking to feel comfortable. We were looking, and we needed somebody who was willing to work with us on a little more long-term basis, not somebody that was going to come in and try to get a check out of us the same day. So our objections were something completely different than what he thought, yet he just kept going back and lowering the price. And honestly, that was not the concern. I mean, we're not looking for the lowest price window. We plan on living in our house long term. So we were looking for things that like more energy efficient and things like that. So, we can ultimately lower our electrical bill and things like that. So anyhow, just a good example there of the fact that you really have to listening to what they're saying, because the people that you're selling to, the people that you're talking to, they're ultimately going to tell you why or what they're looking for. You just have to listen. You have to listen with the intent to understand, not listening with the intent to reply. And those can be very different. And trust me, can be very bad at that part of it. You get in your head, okay, I need to say this. And so I'm just listening for my opportunity to step in and say this. But what you really need to do is you really need to listen with the intent of truly understanding what their objections are, and then ask questions to allow them to continue to talk. Don't ask questions to get you to where you want to go. You need to ask open-ended questions that will allow them to continue to talk until you can fully understand why they're objecting. All right. So there's number one. There's the first technique. Really, truly listen with the intent to understand, not to respond. All right. The next one is a technique called feel, felt, found. All right. So basically what we want to do with this is we want to help them change their way of thinking about the product. We want to help them understand why there's a different perceived value than they currently have in their head. So the way this works is you want to let them know that you have understanding about the way that they're currently feeling about this. So that's the feel felt. And then you want to share then you want to tell them about the felt part. Give them examples of other people in similar situations that have felt the same way. So they have that, I feel you're validating their feelings, is basically what we're doing here. And then found is, then you want to take that example a little bit further and share with them what you found from the other folks to be the ultimate change of mind, and how they got there and why they got there. So we want to, again, help them change the way that they're thinking. So let me give you an example. This would be a good example for anybody that's a decorator, maybe a screen printer or a direct to garment printer or somebody like that. So example might be you're working with your local running club, and part of the running club is that they provide shirts to their members, and they've always bought one color shirts that just are kind of boring and plain, and they're looking for the cheapest price, basically, is what you've discovered. And you're not the cheapest priced guy in town, so you need to kind of, again, change their perceived value of what this is going to be. So here would be, I wrote out an example of something that I heard before, so I'm going to kind of read it to you to give you the full boat here. So I understand you're a bit hesitant because of the $50 art and screen and ink charge to take your shirts to that next level, that full color level, and adding those additional colors. I totally understand how budgets work. I feel the same way when I'm buying something, and but I do want to share with you, another customer that we recently worked with that was in the same boat. They had the same needs, and we recently created a project for them where they had for years also been going with a one color shirt, and finally somebody within their organization said, let's give this a shot. Let's try this full color thing. And the shirts became such a hit inside their club that not only were they able to increase their membership fees because people wanted that shirt so much, but their members also were interested in other products like jackets and hats and other things that we were able to help them with. And then they were able to resell those items and actually put extra money into their club. And they used that extra money to put on a charity race and raised a ton of money for the local charity. So ultimately, they were able to take that to the next level. So how could that possibly fit within your needs? Again, so that's kind of, if I was talking to them, you would have kind of built that up over the course of your conversation and listening and understanding with them. So there's two techniques that I like, and hopefully an example that you can use if you have a tough nut that you're trying to crack. I'm happy to work with you on coming up with a good feel, felt, found technique. So just hit me up on my website, aaronmontgomery.info, and we can work together on that. And just need as much information as you can give me. You need to go out and do the listening part first and take extensive notes, and then we can go from there. So all right, well, to wrap this up today, we are going to I want to make sure that you guys are on my email marketing list. And basically, if you go to aaronmontgomery.info/get connected and sign up, and make sure that you're signed up there. And the reason why I want you signed up there is because I'm working on a marketing training package. It's going to be a bit more all-encompassing, and I'm at the stage right now where I'm listening. I'm working on gathering feedback, trying to understand what it is that you guys need out there to help build your marketing, and especially in the digital marketing world, social media, email marketing. May even go so far as to get into some Google AdWords and some ad kind of buys digitally. So but I need to know what it is that you're looking for. So very, very soon I'm going to be sending out some emails with some surveys, and we're going to have some fun contests, and we're going to do some things like that. So I just want to make sure that you're signed up so you can be a part of that and get what you need out of this. So again, aaronmontgomery.info/get connected. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. And that'll do it for Small Business Saturdays today. And next week I've got a number of different things on the list here. So my wonderful wife always helps give me feedback on what she thinks would be a good piece. So look for some new fun stuff next week. All right. Have a great day.